When he was the artist formerly known as The Rock, Dwayne Johnson referred to himself as the most electrifying man in sports and entertainment. It's a title he's lived up to. At least in the entertainment business, Johnson was able to inject films with life and energy, giving himself the title franchise Viagra, and continues to have a draw, as his recent films, Red 1 and Moana 2, both cracked the top 5 spot during their respective releases. There's one person who wound up predicting Johnson's rise to superstardom, the late, great Roger Ebert. Ebert and Johnson both appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno in March 2000, where Ebert gave what would turn out to be a prophetic statement. "This guy is going to be a major movie star," he told Leno, even advising Johnson to leave the wrestling business. Soon enough, Johnson would go on to start starring in films, and there's one film of his that Ebert enjoyed, the 2010 revenge thriller Faster. Faster starts out like most revenge/action thrillers. Johnson's Jimmy Cullen, or Driver, as he's referred to throughout the film, is released from prison and immediately starts tracking down the people who killed his brother. Though he starts bringing his own personal and highly lethal brand of justice to his brother's killers, Cullen's actions draw in two separate parties determined to put him down: corrupt Detective Slade Humphreys, Billy Bob Thornton, and a mysterious assassin only referred to as Killer, Oliver Jackson Cohen. Surprisingly, the film spends a decent amount of time with its antagonists, as Killer is looking to settle down with his girlfriend Lily, Maggie Grace, while Humphreys is racing to cover up his involvement in the murder of Cullen's brother. This isn't the only time Faster shows nuance, as one of the men on Cullen's list, Alexander Jared Adewale Akinnuye-Agbaje, is a preacher. In fact, the closing moments of the movie literally have him delivering a sermon about the value of forgiveness. Another element that makes Faster stand out from the pack is the fact that Johnson only has 3 lines. There's no monologuing about revenge or corny one-liners. He's a man who is on a mission, and nothing will stop him from carrying it out. Director George Tillman, Jr. even discussed this in an interview, saying that he wanted Johnson to embody the type of stoic anti-hero that Steve McQueen and Clint Eastwood personified in the 70s. It's an approach that Ebert praised in his review of the movie, calling it all blood, no frills. Rotate the plot, change the period, spruce up the dialogue, and this could have been a hard-boiled 1940s noir, Ebert wrote, while also saying that Johnson was on a similar path to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis. Faster also marked the beginning of Dwayne Johnson's career trajectory. Prior to Faster, his career had varied. He made a cameo in The Mummy Returns, which led to him headlining The Scorpion King, which Ebert predicted would cement him as an action star, and doing other action films, but then settled into a run of family-friendly films like The Game Plan and The Tooth Fairy. But even though Faster flopped at the box office, it set the stage for Johnson's next role, Luke Hobbs in Fast 5. Fast 5 was what turned the Fast and Furious franchise into a blockbuster phenomenon, but more importantly, it cemented Johnson as a pure powerhouse in Hollywood. He'd also launched 7 Bucks Productions with his ex-wife Dani Garcia in 2012, allowing him greater creative control over the films he'd produce and/or star in. Though Johnson's hit some speed bumps with recent films like Black Adam, Red Notice, and Red 1, Faster is a reminder that he can push himself when needed. Jimmy Cullen isn't the type of character Johnson tends to play nowadays. He didn't quip, he actually bleeds, and he's in a morally gray zone. But that's what makes him interesting, and following his turn in A24's The Smashing Machine, Johnson should return to gritty action roles. If nothing else, it'd prove that Ebert's prediction about him being the next big action hero was on the money. Faster is available to stream on Netflix.